Can I get a witness? 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 Welcome to the P.O.P show, the power of perspective. We know that your attention is the most powerful thing that you can pay. So I give my all to be worthy right now in the moment and on the replay. Each one reach one, each one teach one. If you are that one, then you got to know that you are enough. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? The truth is always in the moment. It's nowhere because it's now here. When two or more come together in the spirit, you witness it work. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Man, tonight gonna be a powerful show. The question is more powerful than the answer. Do you have critical thinking skills? Do you even understand or know what critical thinking skills is? What is the meaning of critical? Alexa, what is the meaning of critical?
Critical means very important or essential. It can also describe someone who judges or finds fault easily.
Very important or essential. Alexa, what is the meaning of critical thinking? Alexa, what is the meaning of critical thinking?
Critical thinking is disciplined thinking that's clear, rational, open-minded, and informed by evidence.
Do you have critical thinking skills?
Well, I can analyze information and spot patterns, but I wouldn't call it true critical thinking. I'm more like a really sophisticated pattern matching machine that occasionally gets lucky with insights. Though I do try to question assumptions and look at things from different angles. Does that count?
Thank you, Alexa. Stop. I was asking you that. I wasn't even asking her that. But she said she don't really think she got critical thinking skills. So the question is to you, with real intelligence, not artificial, do you have critical thinking skills? Are you able to be in the moment and have rational thinking to identify your position all in the split second of life to make a powerful decision? Joe Crook, you already know what time it is. Brother Black, you already know what time it is. Welcome to the order where we add value to one another. To get off in a story, man. Because I want you to understand it and see how it works. Do you have critical thinking skills? There was a young boy named Jimmy. Jimmy had heard his mama tell a story over and over when Jimmy was little. His mama would tell a story about how her neighbor had a big dog that would bark at her, and that neighbor's dog hated her. And because of that neighbor's dog, she never wanted a dog. So Jimmy never got to experience a dog because the only idea of he had a dog is barking and hating. So Jimmy had got older, and Jimmy had started school, and Jimmy would walk home from school. So every day Jimmy had to walk by this house. It had a high fence, but it had a big dog, and every time Jimmy would get close, all Jimmy would hear was, "Roo, roo, roo, roo." And the only reference that Jimmy had of a dog was the story that he's heard his mama say over and over and over and over again. So Jimmy heard barking, and Jimmy assumed that this dog hated him. But every day Jimmy had to walk past this house. So Jimmy began to close his eyes when he heard the dog bark. He played a game with himself where he would play the blind man. He didn't want to see the dog. He tried to block the dog barks out, but he knew how many steps he had to take to get past the fence. So Jimmy would play that game every day, afraid that the dog was going to get him because he knew the dog hated him. Jimmy was terrified by the dog. He got home and he told his little sister, "It's a dog up there that hates me." So Jimmy had been doing this over and over to the point where he started moving to the other side of the street. And from the time the dog would bark from the other side of the street, Jimmy would start to run. So one day there was a man who had been watching Jimmy do this day in and day out and day out. He was a neighbor. So this day he stopped Jimmy. He said, "Jimmy, come here." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Why you run from that dog and won't walk on that side of the street? Why you so scared of the dog?" He said, "Because that dog hate me. Every day he bark at me." So he walked over there closer to the dog and he said, "Jimmy, come here." Jimmy got to beating hard, got to beating fast, and Jimmy didn't want to go, but Jimmy knew the old man was telling him something, and Jimmy was taught to do what elders say. So Jimmy went over there. He said, "Come here." Got over there near the dog. He said, "Now why you think this dog hates you, Jimmy?" He said, "Because he bark at me." He said, "Why you got your eyes closed? Look at him, Jimmy." He said, "You see how he wagging his tail, Jimmy? You see how he jumping around, Jimmy? The dog name is Bobo. Bobo love people. Everybody that walk by the yard, Bobo bark at him and jump at him and wag his tail because Bobo love attention, Jimmy. Jimmy, Bobo can't say, 'Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy, it's good to see you. Come and pat me and say hey to me, Jimmy.'" He said, "Look at his tail, Jimmy. He don't hate you." So as he was doing this, another group of kids came by, and Jimmy didn't never really get to understand or notice the other kids because Jimmy got the hell on. But Jimmy had to wait and look. So the other kids came and they said, "Hey, Bobo, hey, Bobo, hey, Bobo." And they went and patted Bobo, and Jimmy saw that Bobo was a friendly dog that loved everybody that walked by his yard. So Jimmy learned a lesson about critical thinking. See, Jimmy had done told his sister that the dog hated him because his way of thinking about a dog was already cultivated. The old man told him, say, "Hold, Jimmy, open your eyes, process what's going on. Look at the dog, Jimmy." See, critical thinking is about being able to take a moment and assess what's going on before you jump to feelings. Little Jimmy just jumped straight to being scared, closing his eyes. Not paying attention or caring about what's real in the moment. Jimmy just blocked everything real out and went to how he was cultivated to think. He wasn't critical. He didn't realize that his position in his moment of being able to look and see for himself, to understand before he came to a solid thought. Can you critical think? Or are you just legitimate about every situation? You just jump to your feelings and your emotions and you don't process anything or understand your position, the situation around you. You just take what was cultivated in you as a child and you just run blind because you can't critically think. Can you critically think? I don't want to yell, but I can't help it. Because I think critically every day, all day. I saw something today that was powerful. And it goes to critically thinking me as a father. There was a video on my timeline. It was two men in the bathroom. One man was tall, looked like he might have been 6'3", 6'4". The other guy wasn't as tall, but he was kind of stocky. And he stopped him from walking out the bathroom to say, "Hey, man, what you say? What's up?" So he was saying, "What's on the corner of such and such and such and such?" And the taller guy was saying, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. So the other guy was positioning himself and he was saying, "I'm asking you, nah man, you know what time it is? What is on the corner of such and such?" And the other guy was saying, I really don't know what you're talking about. I really don't know what you're talking about. And then the guy grabbed him and knocked his ass out and he went to sleep and he got humiliated on the cell phone in the club of a bathroom, laying on the goddamn floor like a fucking hoe. It triggered me. It's triggering me now. It took me to a moment, this real life shit. I remember my son was 5 years old, around that age. And I was getting on him about something. And he said, "Daddy, I ain't do it. I ain't do it. I ain't do it, Daddy. I ain't do it." He had his hands turned up to me. The way my mind worked critically, I saw him in a situation. I said, I got to change it right now. I say, turn your hands over. Don't ever put your hands up like that. Ever turn your hands up only to your woman or your mama or your helping a woman, but don't ever turn your hands up to a man, not even me. If you defend yourself or make your claim, you make it from a man's posture to say, "I ain't do it, Daddy. Hold up, Daddy. I ain't do it." But don't never turn your hands up. Talking real life shit if you ain't never had somebody tell you or you ain't never know to tell your son. So I'm watching a grown man with his hands turned up. See, critically thinking in a moment, when you're assessing the situation amongst men, a critical thinker understands the posture of a man. The man posture determines who he is, and what he ready for, and what he ain't ready for. So if your posture is a submitting posture to another man, and he assessed that, you meet in the jungle. And this man ain't got critical enough thinking skills to realize that I tell my son, "Don't you wear no goddamn Crocs and no flip-flops out this house, because you don't know what'll happen in today's time where you can't stand on your pivot and get in your posture and fight your way out like a motherfucking man." I got to think critical of preparing him to survive. Do you have critical thinking skills? Can you see it? Critical thinking skills come and practice every day, every moment, every down. We all think we know sports, but sometimes we only know sports from the bleachers, from the stands. Do you understand it from the game? Because if I'm in the game and life comes at you fast, you got less than a second to make a sound decision for another man put you on your ass. Can you read the room? Can you read the defense? Can you read the offense? Are you prepared to move, to get in position when position seems to be against the moment? Are you ready? Can you see it happening before it happening? Those that don't know or can't know, they ask you, how do you know? It's about being real in the moment, what you're thinking. He make a big play. He been practicing every day. How did he know? He was just prepared. He been critically thinking about the situation every second, every moment. See, this question is powerful. Can you critically think? I've been to leadership classes for supervising and management. This is one of the key components of leadership, critical thinking. Can you assess what's real, what ain't, who can, who can't, what's wet, what's paint? Can you assess it all in the moment to put yourself and realize, if I make this decision, the cause and the effect is this. If I make that decision, the cause and the effect is this. I got to realize that I'm a little biased right now. Do you understand what things you are biased about? I'm biased to a black man and a black woman in any situation. They my kind, they got my mind. So when I'm at work in situations, well, it's my kind, the people who got my mind, I got to understand that I got a little bias, so my critical thinking got to really kick in. Because when it comes to my people, I go to my feelings. Got to get out your feelings. If you can't get out your feelings, you can't critically think. This ain't no real hard complex. This ain't deep. This is real raw life shit that you got to understand every day, every moment. I say things in ways that people might not understand because critical thinking is real. Why can I pray when I think critically every moment of my day? When I gotta take time out to pray. I'm connected to the main line with everything in my mind. That's what critically thinking is. Christ's Spirit says, ye be renewal in the mind. Critical thinking will make you change your mind. Money Mike, you already know what time it is. Wearing this pink for the bloom and the blossom. Tomorrow is Good Friday. What's Good Friday? Alexa, what is the meaning behind Good Friday?
Good Friday commemorates Jesus Christ's crucifixion and death. It's called good because his sacrifice brought hope of salvation and new life.
In the story, he died.
Is that for me?
No. Thank you.
Got it.
In the story, He died on a Friday. He stayed in the ground 3 days and then he rose. The rise. Tomorrow is Good Friday. Sunday is Easter on the 5th. There's a calendar where you can know what day Easter will be for the next 10 to 20 years. The dates are already set. Let's do some critical thinking. What is the truth? The truth is tomorrow is Good Friday and Sunday is Easter. Let's do some critical thinking. It's about the sun, but it's about the sun. If we look outside, we know that it's springtime. It's coming back. It's forward. Winter was gone. The death season, we made it through to see it come again. Tomorrow, Lowe's, Home Depot will be full in the plant agriculture section because everybody knows that Good Friday is the time in the spirit of culture to cultivate the land to get ready for the harvest. Let's do some critical thinking. We know all these things are true. We've been living long enough to know the cycle through and through. Put ye childish things away. When a child is a child, they don't have to think critically because the cause and effects of their thoughts don't fall on the responsibilities of themselves. That's what parents and guidances are for. They care for and protect and nurture and guide. So when you are a child like mine, you don't have to think critically because you're in a guide. But as an adult, you got to put childish things aside and learn how to think and not what to think. So just think about it. Just think about it. Just think about it. Rise of the erection. Season of the bloom. What kind of seeds you got? See, they go to critical thinking. This is about agriculture. And this is a time that we're witnessing that the buds are beginning to come back and we're on a journey to the bloom and the blossom. Then now is a time to plant your seeds. I'm telling y'all, tomorrow, go to Home Depot or Lowe's. The garden section will be overrunning because people are now ready to plant their garden for their harvest. The critical thinking aspects to understand how it works is, what kind of seeds do you got in this here moment? What are you thinking critically about? You got to see it to be it. Any road will take you there, but only a divine path will bring you here. What are you thinking about in the seeds of this here season? So that's critical. It's critical. It's important. It requires attention. See, because we in a cycle. Same cycle. That's been happening your whole life. We in a cycle. If you ain't got no seeds and you ain't planting none right now when it's time to plant, then come July, you won't get a harvest. And come August, if you ain't got a harvest and you ain't got nothing to store, you ain't got memories, you ain't got love, you ain't got everything that came when the sun was upon you in abundance. If you ain't got a harvest, just like the cycle go, when the winter comes again and everything die and you can't survive and you don't know why, because you ain't understood in this here goddamn season, you ain't got no seeds. Put the childish games away. The Easter bunny was for the children. The story is for the children. The imagination is for the children. You got to be real about how you thinking as an adult. Because life comes at you fast. If you can't think in the moment, life will put you on your ass. There's millions that didn't get to see it come back. There's millions. Just think critically for a moment. Think critically. This ain't deep, just think. You ain't got to go do no research. You ain't got to go read. Just think. It's right here in the moment. It's nowhere because it's now here. Just open your eyes, pay attention, and think. Assess what's going on. Talked about last week how Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, Nick Cannon, they all came out with the rhetoric of being the Hebrew Israelites. We are the real Jews. They say it's about us. You know, the same people that be downtown on the corner, they say it's about us. They know scripture. They read the Bible. They found their divinity in the Bible. They say the Bible is about us. They came out open to tell the people, the black people, we are the children of Israel. It's about us. The Jews castrated them in front of their people's eyes. Don't you say that and don't you play that. Let's think critical. Since then, man, you've heard no more about it mentioned about that, about religion. It's been all politics. But then we had a young man for the Chicago Bulls come out and say, being gay ain't righteous. And he took a biblical stance. And he said, you ain't going to make me unify with something unrighteous when my word and my faith tells me different. He wasn't disrespectful. He was compassionate about the gospel that had been instilled in him by someone who knew that he needed a moral anchor. And he used social media just like everybody else, using it for any goddamn thing, but he used it to pour out a compassionate cry to say, I stand for righteousness. And he got castrated. And we can't think critical enough. Or can we think critical enough to realize that the truth ain't welcome here no more? Now, I don't think we can. I don't think we can. I know we can't. Because we ain't. Just think. Just think, y'all. Kamara, you already know what time it is. Trey Prue, welcome to the huddle, sister. We all we got. We all we need. Last week was a rough week for me. Had allergies on my head. Was feeling low. So ain't nobody above the bullshit. We all have bad moments and weak moments. But sometimes when people around you that love you, when you get down, it only lasts a moment. They say, Trav, you tripping. I say, man, well, let me fall because I'm around love. So if I fall in love. Where they say, get back up. It only lasts a moment. And we fall down, but we get up. So sometimes the down be necessary. It brings on another level of critical thinking. But when I'm in them moments, I try to fight it internally and move through and get through. So I'm real conscious of trying to be careful of what I'm going through. I don't want to project that to nobody else or let that come out of me in a sense to bring or change the situation where it's a reflection of me and my going through something. But when you're real and when you're true, and you got people that meet you there, sometimes it's hard to hide. Brother say, what's wrong with you, man? I say, go ahead, I'm all right, man. He say, no, you ain't, man. I can see it, man. You thinking like hell about something. I know when you thinking, what you thinking about. Just thinking about my bag of seeds, man. I made it. I'm thankful I made it. But I got to be a better harvest and farmer this season. I got to understand how to sow my garden better, man. He say, I feel you, man. But come on, man, get through it. I say, I'm all right. He say, no, you ain't. I said, man, goddamn, if I ain't, well, I'm trying. He say, hey, man, you talk about that bathroom. You got to keep that shit in the bathroom. I said, go ahead on, man. Why you tell me that? He said, because I look for you for inspiration. We all we got, we all we need, right? I need you every day to be you for me, man. He say, so you keep that shit you got in the bathroom. That's where you keep that when you come out. And he being sarcastic. He say, when you come out and when you come to work, you got to be the hero that you are because we need that shit. And he made me critically think. I said, man, go ahead on, man. He said, I got to keep that shit in the bathroom. We all we got, we all we need. Sometimes we get dark. Sometimes we get blank. Sometimes we need direction. But in them times, man, people pay attention to you. Those the one that's critical about you. Every moment they spend, every conversation they have is very, very important. They really care. And more than you know it, you can't hide it. But it's okay. Just be able to accept the hand when they pull you up. Wag one, Trey Prue. Can you critical think? The question is more powerful than the answer. Don't always jump to your feelings. We more critical of a quarterback on a football team than we critical of any type of sports position it is. His decisions can get him crucified and fired. Deion Sanders, when he was building his quarterback team, he said his quarterback got to have at least a 4.0 GPA to prove that he's a leader. He got to have good critical thinking skills. One of the things that make him who he is his ability to read a defense. The ability to read a defense is to look at everything in formation and know the legitimacy and problematic reason that they could reach a position on the field and they can't. So when he understands this, he reads it, he adjusts his mind to where everybody is, where they can be and where they should be, and based off his read and ability to critically think in 3 seconds to watch and analyze all of this shit and make a sound decision that will move the team forward. But if you don't understand critically thinking, you might think it's just about throwing a goddamn ball. That's why a quarterback is the leader. Thank you, Trey Prue. Stay encouraged. That's real talk, Trey Prue. I want to give a shout out to my wife. If somebody love you and they pay attention to you, I don't care how you do it, you can't hide it. A reminder or a memory. In case you forget. It's what somebody will love you or give you. Remind you who you really is. That goes into we all we got, we all we need. Sometimes we can be going around our mountain and we can be going through what we going through, and through the journey of going through what we going through, you realize that it ain't nobody in your path that really know you. And you have to make a phone call to somebody to remind you. That's the shit. That's the bullshit ain't nobody above. That's the real shit. But I'm going to get out of here, man. I ain't sung this song in a long time, but I really mean it. I really mean it. I have grown to a better me. I'm growing, baby. I'm better than who I used to be. Hey, man, say that in the mirror. If you don't mean it, say it till you mean it. If you living, you growing. If you dead, you ain't. Like they say, who will you be 5 years from now? Critically think about the seeds. Critically think about the seeds that you're planting, because whether you know it or not, who you will be in 5 years are what you're critically thinking about in this moment. The truth is nowhere because it's now here. I have grown to a better me. I'm growing, baby. It's better than who I used to be. I've been on this journey. Hold me down.